welcome to today's video. Those of you that are new to my channel, hi, my name is Maria, and today's video is going to be a full face of Chanel, and this video is in collaboration with Foteini Armstrong. Foteini and I have become friends over the last 6 to 8 weeks and been chatting back and forth, and thought it would be a great idea to do a full face of Chanel. We both love our luxury makeup. On Foteini's channel, she tries out makeup. The majority of that makeup is luxury. She also reviews skincare items as well, and recently got a PR package and reviewed a whole lot of beautiful Korean skincare. She also does the odd vlog and just recently put up one, and often it's around the beautiful district where she lives. Foteini's reviews on her channel are concise and to the point, but she's also very good within quite a short time frame of explaining how a product works and whether it's good for certain skin types and how it's worked for her as well. She is completely honest and upfront when it comes to reviewing products with luxury makeup and skincare, and with Korean skincare as well. It's often the case that these products do work really well, but when there is an item that hasn't worked so well for her, she will let you know how and why it didn't work for her. In the short time that I've known Foteini, I've known her to be very kind and very loyal, and she's very supportive of other YouTube creators. So please go and check Foteini's channel out. I will put a link to her channel in the description box below, and I'll also put a link to her Instagram. She often uploads things on her Instagram account, and she does these beautiful reels and videos and showcases the products that she has on YouTube really beautifully. So all the makeup that I am wearing today is Chanel, apart from eye primer and eyebrow gel, but other than that it is all Chanel. So if you want to see what products I use for this look, then keep watching. And I'm not going to put on a primer today, one because I don't have a Chanel primer, but the other reason is because for the foundation I'm going to use the Teint Ultrawear All Day Comfort Flawless Finish Foundation. This is in the shade B30. And I did a review on this foundation, and initially I didn't like it at all because it was quite patchy. And then I did decide, after a couple of people recommended to me, I decided to wear it without primer, and it now works really beautifully, and I really like this foundation. But all my skincare has been done, and I've got all my sunscreen on as well. So I'm going to use about 1 pump of this. I may need a little bit more, but the other times now I've used it, 1 pump seems to be enough. And I'm going to use the BK Beauty 101 foundation brush to apply it with.
I wouldn't call it unnatural, I wouldn't call it polite. You couldn't show me one thing that's all black.
Now I'm just going to go in with a concealer just to see if I can cover a little bit more. I have a sunspot here, some there and some up here. All the redness has been covered by that foundation though, and it looks really good. And I haven't tried this yet. This is the Chanel Longwear concealer, and I got this in the shade 30 Beige. So I'll open this up. I'm also going to use this under my eyes today as well. So this is what the concealer looks like, and it has a fairly small size type of doe foot. So I'm just going to put some here, and just there where those sunspots are. They always tend to show through no matter what foundation I use, and the ones there. But as for the rest, I do think the redness has been covered really well. So it's just these sunspots that need a little bit more coverage. So we'll see if this concealer can cover them up. And the brush I use to stipple in the concealer on my face is an Hourglass one. This doesn't have a number. I think it's just called the Hourglass Concealer Brush. And I think it's supposed to be more for under your eyes, but the bristles on it are quite firm, and doesn't do so great a job for under my eyes, but for doing spot concealing on the face, I find this a really good brush. And that concealer has covered just as good as the other concealers that I have been using, so I'm really pleased with that. Let's hope it works okay for under the eyes as well. And I also picked up a Chanel corrector, and I got this in the shade Vert. Now this is a green one, and I haven't used a green corrector for many years. It said it was for fair skin, but also to help cover veins. So I have a little bit of darkness, but mainly I have these quite prominent veins under each eye. But because it's for fair skin, I'm wondering whether it's more for coverage with veins that tend towards that blue shade, whereas the veins under my eyes, they really probably lean more towards green. But we'll give this a go. And it is called the Longwear Colour Corrector. And it comes in similar packaging to the Longwear concealer that I just put on. So I'm going to put this on first. I'm going to go fairly carefully with this. And I'm probably just going to put a little bit on and then just tap it in with my finger. Well, it goes on really nicely and presses well into the skin. Whether it's actually covered, I don't know, or corrected that. If anything, it maybe probably looks a bit more green. But anyway, once I put the concealer on, then I'll be able to tell whether this has corrected the colour of the veins under my eyes. So I'm just going to let that sit. This is what I normally do when I put my under eye products on. I'm just going to let this sit for a minute or two. So now I'm just going to put on my eyeshadow primer. And as I said, I haven't got a Chanel one, so I'm going to use the MAC Paint Pot. And to put my eyeshadow primer on, I also use an Hourglass brush, and this is the number 8 brush. And now that my eyeshadow primer is on, the corrector's been sitting for just over a minute. So I'm going to go back in with that same concealer I put on my face and put a little bit under my eyes just to see if I can get some extra coverage. And I'm only just going to put a little bit in the corner here, and I'll use my finger to press the product across. So that's the concealer on. I think it is a really nice concealer. I have to see how it goes throughout the day to see whether it creases or not. I don't know whether the corrector really did much at all, but both together they actually look really nice. So now I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I got they had 2 different sorts of eyebrow pencils, but I ended up getting the Defining Longwear eyebrow pencil, and I got this in 808, which is the Brun Clair. It's really difficult buying shades online for eyebrow pencils, so I hope this is going to be okay. I don't think I went too dark when I chose. I think it was more of a light brown sort of shade. So this is the packaging for the eyebrow pencil. I haven't used this yet. On one end it has the spoolie, and on the other it has a pencil of one that I've never used one like that before. It's much more thicker and angled, whereas normally I've been recently using the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows one, which is a very fine pencil. So we'll see how this goes. I think the shade is going to be absolutely fine. I don't think it's too dark at all. I really like the shade. It's just a matter whether I like this type of application. So to put this on, I'm going to use my Sephora mirror. This was gifted a long time ago when I bought a few Sephora products last year, and I use it all the time because it's got a couple of mirrors and one is more magnified, and I like using a magnified mirror when I'm doing my eyebrows, and then I also don't have to lean right into the mirror in front of me here to do them.
It's all black or all white. I didn't come here to worry. I didn't come here to care.
So my eyebrows are done. I really love this shade. I think it's quite a natural sort of shade, possibly a little bit lighter than I normally use, but I actually quite like it. Maybe it gives it a bit more of a natural look. The applicator is one that I'll have to get used to, but they don't look too bad. I'm not really super fussy with my eyebrows as long as they look fairly neat and tidy. So now I'm just going to put on some eyebrow gel, and I will put on the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. So normally now I would powder under my eyes and my face, and then if I was going to use a bronzer, do that after. But the one that I got, and I haven't tried this one yet, and this is the Chanel Tan Bronze, and it's the Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream in $3.90. This is the packaging that it comes in. We'll take it out and have a look. And this is the container. It has 30 grams of product, and inside is a plastic cover. So this is what the bronzer looks like. Normally when I apply a contour, I use the BK Beauty brush, one of the BK Beauty brushes that I have. So I'm going to use the same one to put this bronzer on. I haven't actually ever used a cream bronzer before, but I've used cream contours, so I'm figuring it's going to be similar. And I'm going to use the BK Beauty 106 brush, and I suppose I'll just dab it in and apply some bronzer. I'll actually swatch a bit on my hand first so you can see the colour of this. So that's the bronzer. It's not too dark or anything like that, so I think it's going to be fairly foolproof. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. So that's the bronzer on. It does have a slight fragrance, but I can't really smell it anymore now, and it's certainly not overpowering. It's quite unusual to put a cream bronzer on, but it blended out really, really beautifully. I like the colour. I think it's just a very natural, light, sun-kissed look. So now I'm going to set the concealer under my eyes and also the foundation and cream bronzer that I've put on my face. And the setting powder that I'm going to use for both under my eyes and my face is the Chanel Natural Finish Loose Powder. This is the translucent one. This is absolutely beautiful, this powder. I don't need a separate one for under my eyes. It does both really, really beautifully. So I'm going to do under my eyes first, and I'm going to take the BK Beauty 108 brush, and I just roll it in the powder, and I always tap off all the excess, especially when I'm putting powder under my eyes. I just want enough to set the corrector and concealer, but I don't want it to go all cakey. So I've tapped that off, and then I just gently press under each eye. And also what I do once I've just put that powder on is I take another BK Beauty brush, and this is the 102 brush, and this is super soft. It's a beautiful, beautiful brush, and I just lightly sweep under each eye just to make sure any excess powder is removed. Then I'm going to take my Sonia G Face 1 brush and again dab this into the powder. I don't need to tap this off quite so much, and just put a bit on initially, and then you can either keep just pressing it in, or you can use it to lightly buff as well. It's a really good brush for setting powders. So that's the setting powder done, and my face just feels silky smooth. I cannot recommend enough that Chanel setting powder. It's just beautiful. For the eyeshadow, I'm going to use one of the 3 that I purchased recently, and I haven't tried this one yet. And this is the 362 Candeur and Provocation. And this looks absolutely gorgeous. They have those 2 brushes in there. I'm just going to tip them out because I find that otherwise they get in the way, and I won't be using them anyway. So these are the shades. Just really pretty. I love the pinks and the more neutral colours. So I'm going to take my Rapha number 14 brush and I'm going to go into this shade here first and see what happens. This Rapha brush I only got probably maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, and it's become one that I use every single day. I love it because it's small and you have a lot more control, but it's still got that little bit of fluffiness on it so you can buff your powder out. I'm probably going to get 1 or 2 more spares of this because this would be now one of my favourite eyeshadow brushes.
The look in your eyes is a look in my eyes. Tonight, 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 I'm not worried about the price. I feel good, I look nice. Tonight,
Then I'm going to take the Rapha number 15 brush, another favourite of mine, and go into this lighter shade here and put that in my crease and just above as well.
tonight, tonight, tonight. I didn't come here to fight, but who's wrong, who's right? I'm just trying to keep things light.
Now I'm going to take the Rapha number 1 brush and go into this deeper shade here and put that on the outer corner of my eye. Then I'm going to take my Sonia G Builder 3 brush and go into this lightest pink shade here and put that from the inner corner of my eye through to the center.
Sometimes I feel like looking away. Sometimes I see what I want to see. Sometimes I see how she could be. And I want to scream.
I'm going to take the Rapha number 3 brush and go in again that deeper shade and put that underneath my lower lash line.
And I want to scream. Watch the world hurt. This drunken dream. This play on words.
And then I'm going to go back into this lighter pink shade here and just put some underneath on the inner corner of my eye. So now I'm going to line my eyes, and I picked up 2 eyeliners, and there's one I won't be using today. That was in the colour Marine, which is a blue, and I have never bought a blue eyeliner before, but that won't be any good for today's look. But the other one I picked up is in the colour Blackwood, and they're both called the Long Lasting Eyeliner, and they're supposed to be waterproof. So this one is, like I said, Marine, so I'll swatch that on my hand so you can have a look. So that's Marine. It's a really pretty colour, but not for today's look. If I had used one of the other palettes I've got, I think it's the Chanel in Modern Glamour, I think that this would look really beautiful, but not with the pink and rosy tones. So the other shade I got is Blackwood, and I'll swatch that on my hand so you can see that one as well. So it's not the deepest black they had, it was one shade up from that, which I quite like. It'll give a bit of depth, but without being too hard looking. So I'm going to line my upper lash line and possibly also put a little bit down below as well.
This play on words. This magazine. Come as you are. The light, the light, the light. Tonight.
So that is the eyeliner done. The pencil went on beautifully. It didn't tug while I was putting it on. And those of us that have mature eyelids will know that the skin moves a lot when you put, especially when you're using an eyeliner pencil. And that's why it takes me so long to put it on. But it doesn't pull or tug, and I was able to do quite a tidy line on each upper eyelid. I think it looks really, really good. I'm just hoping it's going to be long wearing as they say it is, and waterproof so it doesn't transfer on my eyelids, but really, really impressed with it so far. So next is mascara, and I've used this a few times, and I think I mentioned this in my April favourites, and this is the Chanel Le Volume in the colour Noir. Love this mascara. It never clumps, it doesn't transfer, and I can layer it. So I'll curl my lashes first. And this is the wand of the mascara. It's just a very basic one, but just seems to work really, really well. So now I'm going to do the blush, and I'm going to use the powder blush in the shade Quintessence. This is just a really pretty soft shade, and I thought it would go really well with this eyeshadow and look today. And this is the shade Quintessence. So I'm going to take the Soleil G Classic Cheek Brush and just lightly go in at first. So that's the blush done. It's not a in-your-face type of colour, but a beautiful wash of colour, and I think it goes beautifully with the eyeshadow that I've used today. And I've picked up for a highlighter, which I haven't used yet, and this is the Chanel highlighting powder, and I got this in Ivory Gold, and again it comes in a pouch just like the blushes and eyeshadows. And I've swatched a bit on my hand here, and you can see how pigmented and shiny that is. So I'm just going to brush in the pan very lightly. That even though I hardly picked up any out of the pan, and just very lightly dusted it on with this fan brush, it does give a really beautiful glow to the cheeks, or the cheekbones. It's really, really pretty. So hopefully this lasts on my oily skin, but it looks really, really beautiful. I'm not really a big user of lip pencils. I don't have a lot in my collection, and I think the one that I got, it is the Longwear lip pencil, and this is in the shade 196 Rose Poudre, and it has a little sharpener in there as well. It's quite big packaging for a pencil. On one side it has a brush, so possibly you could use the pencil just by itself and brush it all over your lips, and the other end is the pencil. So I'll swatch a bit of this on my hand so you can take a look. It's going to be too light for the lipstick I've got. I'm still going to put it on though. I think it will look okay, but I couldn't find a more sort of neutral coloured Chanel lipstick, and the three that I have are quite bold colours, but that is a really pretty shade. So I'm still going to put it on anyway, and we'll see how we go. It goes on really smooth. There's no sort of tug on your lips, which is really, really nice. So like I said, the three Chanel lipsticks that I've got, they're all fairly bold, but out of the three, this is probably the least bold, and this is the shade Blossom. So I'll swatch some on my hand so you can take a look. So you can see she's pretty intense, but as I said, she is the least bold one that I've got in the Chanel range. These lipsticks are beautiful. They go on beautifully, and they feel really hydrating on the lips. They're absolutely gorgeous. If you have Chanel products, let me know what your favourites are, and I will consider picking them up and giving them a go as well. And that's it for today's video. Please go and check out Foteini's video. She's doing the full face of Chanel as well, and I'm sure she's going to look absolutely gorgeous, and I just know you're going to love her content. As I said, I'm going to put a link to her video and channel, and also her Instagram below in the description box. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.